Hello, everyone. My name's Jad, and got a bit of a sad video today, but just want to talk about some things about Destiny specifically. At the time of this video, it has been 1 day after Bungie has issued an official announcement that Destiny 2 will no longer be receiving updates after June 9th, 2026. My first thoughts are, well, how did we get here, and why is this happening? Well, if we look back, it's no secret to anyone, really, that Destiny has been mismanaged time and time again. We've been in a cycle of it's over or so back many, many times. Every time Bungie's got a win, they end up, I don't know, they mess up and then they have their back against the walls and then they release an amazing game update and everybody's happy and then the same thing repeats itself. We saw this with the launch of Destiny 1. We had Taken King. We saw this with the launch of Destiny 2. Then we had Shadowkeep. We saw this with... Sorry, not Shadowkeep. Wow, my bad. Forsaken. We had Forsaken. Then we had Shadowkeep into Beyond Light. Beyond Light was, it wasn't the greatest, but it was somewhat better than Shadowkeep. Then we had... Oh, man. We had the Witch Queen into Lightfall. And Lightfall into the final shape. And now we have the Edge of Fate. To be honest, these news they make me pretty sad. To give a little context, I've been playing Destiny since Taken King, all the way back in Destiny 1. I've been through the best of times and the worst of times in this game. And for most of my life, Destiny has been the game that made me fall in love with gaming in general. I made some of my closest friends through it. I have met amazing and interesting people. And I've had some of the most fun gaming imaginable. I have countless stories to tell from my days within this world. Experiences with friends. But now I'm left with a bitter and sad feeling. Due to long cycles of mismanagement, as well as poorly allocated resources and tone-deaf decisions by those in charge of the game, as well as those who focus on profits exclusively without a care of the community and the game itself, Destiny 2 is officially going into an end-of-updates mode. A game that was once spearheading the online looter-shooter genre has been killed by crappy decisions and corporate greed. And me and many others within the community are sad and frustrated at this. We all knew that after the final shape, the climax of the Light and Darkness saga, a lot of people would be asking, what's next? Or getting off the Destiny Express entirely. At least we had episodes to look forward to. When the episodes rolled around, at first they were interesting. It felt like seasons with a twist, and in my opinion, they weren't all that bad with the exception of Revenant. Regardless of how episodes were received, the game itself was fine. In a post-final shape world, we were wrapping up stories and gameplay wasn't all that bad. Assuming you really weren't playing PvP, because, you had to deal with the whole, mess of prismatic builds and all that stuff. I can't speak much on the PvP scene because I'm not a big PvP player. I primarily interacted with the PvE content of the game. I did raids for fun, with my buds, and a few low-mans. However, PvP is a core part of the game, and it carries Destiny during dry periods, so the fact that it's been neglected for so long, and had new maps promised to us a while ago, and we only got 3 new maps after around 600 days of no updates, if I'm not mistaken. It's honestly very disheartening and speaks to the greater issues under the hood of the game itself and the development side of the game. Going back to general game health, I think it's no surprise to anyone that, when they look back at the memories in Destiny 2, it's usually filled with nostalgia about getting highly sought after loot and spending time with their friends in either raids, dungeons, Crucible, or simply just messing around in other activities. The game just thrives on social stuff. That is besides shooting things, besides shooting big guys with big guns, the game thrives on the social aspects of the game. Outside of the story, which, has had multiple ups and downs, the game is carried by its community. Hey, you can spend its time in its world shooting big bad guys with cool guns alongside your friends. Edge of Fate. Oh boy, Edge of Fate. When Edge of Fate dropped, the game itself was stripped of its identity of community-focused activities and turned into a corporate shell of its former self. The game lost its identity. It actively encouraged you to focus on portal activities while actively incentivized heavy modifier stacking in order to get the best loot out of, like, what was it, solo salt mine farming, for example? I mean, that's, in my experience, that's what I was doing to farm up to, like, the current light level cap. And it sucked. The whole fun part of Destiny is doing things with your buds, and you couldn't do that anymore because of the portal. Not only that, the director, the planetary hub with all the worlds of Destiny that, you know, haven't been sunsetted, got replaced by the portal UI. Weekly challenges were changed for orders that had to be... I honestly don't really know all that much about the orders, other than they're just boring. I mean, I know the challenges weren't all that great, but still, the orders are not good. And add to that the fact that all raid and dungeon rotators were gone, and their armor and weapons were made irrelevant by the new tiering system, meant that they indirectly, once again, sunset all of their previous content they have spent years building up on, without adding anything of substance in return, and actively hurting and minimizing the game to meaningless activities that didn't even award anything besides the feeling of mindless grind for the sake of making your light level number bigger. The only good thing to come out of the Edge of Fate was the raid, which was pretty good. But due to the state of the game at this time and its atrocious story, you alienated most players, and thus Desert Perpetual and its epic variant, while cool and fun activities, will be some of the least done content in the game. Moving on from the unfortunate situation that was Edge of Fate, as if it couldn't get any worse, we have the Ash and Iron update. Oh boy. You bring back the Plague Lands, the Plague Lands, right? And you forget the Plague. I know from a lore perspective that Siva is inactive and shut down. However, the core story of the season was Maya is in the Plague Lands looking for old Golden Age tech. Then why wasn't the season set on Kepler, or Neomuna, or Venus, or the Mars Warmind facility? We have so many other options for Golden Age tech in the story. Yet you insist on bringing back an old beloved location for the sake of nostalgia, yet you leave out the main aspects of what made it beloved. Where are the splicers? Where is the rampaging specks of dormant reactivated Siva due to Vex network interference? Don't even get me started on how they brought back this place and somehow thought it wouldn't be received horribly if they didn't reprise Wrath. Yeah. I know we've been down the whole rabbit hole of talking about Wrath, but the game is not receiving any more updates. And Wrath of the Machine isn't being reprised into D2. Let that sink in. I could honestly talk so much more about Ash and Iron and how terrible it was, but if I didn't move on from this video would be a lot longer. Now, I'm just going to keep this brief because I don't really have that much to say about Renegades, but for a half-baked expansion that had no personal identity besides Star Wars, it was better than Edge of Fate. The dungeon was cool. The heat weapons are pretty cool and solid. Like, they're Star Wars guns. What do you expect? They're funny. But other than that, I don't have much to say on this expansion. Other than it was fun for a brief period, but it is not what I expected. Going from Renegades onwards, it was radio silent. Fear of what was going to happen set into the community, and then the delay of the mid-season update for the sake of Marathon. A game that, you know, while Marathon may be fun, if you're playing that game solo, it's miserable. And even then, Marathon is not anywhere close to Destiny. I don't know what they're going to do with that game. But regardless, they delayed the mid-season update for the sake of Marathon. And now we know that the delay was actually going to be the final update that Destiny was going to get. Bungie's at least keeping the game online, like they did with Destiny 1. At the time of writing this, on May 22nd, 2026, Destiny 1 is still playable and fully online. You can go play it from start to finish with friends. Oh boy. As for the final update for this game, to try to fix the giant mess that they put themselves in, they've promised a lot of things, like tuning passes to most exotics, new aspects, grenades, ability reworks, Pantheon 2.0, which will be a permanent game mode now. I don't know why it never was. Pantheon was amazing and everybody loved it. as well as a loot refresh and tier updates for all armor and weapons from destination vendors, and all core playlists like Crucible, Vanguard Ops, and Gambit, plus unique destination distortions, which we have no clue what they are. They sound like public events with slightly altered with unique rewards. New Crucible game modes, true exotic armor transmog, which is basically allowing you to put ornaments that aren't of exotic rarity onto exotics, new catalysts, a Ward of Dawn rework, and all of these things. They sound cool and all. Oh, by the way, did I forget to mention, at the end of the game's life cycle, they add in SRL. Yup, Sparrow Racing League is coming back as a final. Oh yeah, here you go, guys. We're sorry we didn't put this in sooner. Oh yeah, and I forgot. I guess Eververse is getting updated too. Free Eververse engram focusing and daily rotation instead of weekly for Bright Dust offerings. A new bundle with all the content on it and a permanent price markdown for all the D2 content in June. They're promising a lot, and it sounds nice on paper. But me personally, I'll believe the changes when I see them. Because at this point, there have been several times Bungie says they'll do something, and there's been several times that they say they're going to do something, and they never do it. Just like, if I have to bring up examples, look at the roadmap. They promised we would be getting it in early 2026, and that never arrived. Or the fact that an entire weapon set that was in the promo images for Lightfall never came into existence, except for the hand cannon from Veil Containment. I've been ranting for a while, but I have some last things to say. To me, Destiny was special. This game, this world, this community is still special. I have lived in this world for close to 12 years of my life, and I have walked its streets and roamed its stars. I've slain gods and adventured to places I couldn't even imagine. This game, whether we want it or not, has become an integral part of our lives. And whether or not we do get a Destiny 3, we will always remember Destiny with love. Because despite everything, this game gave us so much. So many laughs, so many sorrows, so many victories, and so many defeats. That we all continue to travel its stars and worlds, all for the sake of that sweet, precious loot, as a content creator I miss would say. I will always remember the time I was a Guardian. I will remember it fondly. And hey, for those of you playing when June 9th rolls around for that final hurrah, I hope to see you there. I know I will be doing raids and exploring what the final update has to offer. For those of you who made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching. I'd appreciate it if you could leave a like and sub. Your support is greatly appreciated. And hey, if this somehow ends up on Astacross's feed and he reacts to it, hey, much love, brother. To all my fellow Guardians, may we meet again beyond the stars. I'll see you tomorrow, friends. Take care.